Hello everybody, welcome to a Board Game Nation review of Broom Service. I finally did the box right. There we go. So, Broom Service is a Rio Grande game. It's a 2 to 5 player game, and it was nominated and won the Spiel des Jahres, which is kind of the German game of the year for strategy games. It's not a huge game. Typically this award isn't given to super heavy games, but it's like Catan level games. Now the other nominees were Orioles? Can't say the word. And also Elysium, which I already did a run through for. And also another nominee, which, well, I didn't get into the nominee, but it was a close runner-up, was Deuce. So you can see a couple of the other games that are, were going up against Broom Service. And as you can see, I think I've done Deuce. You can check it out on my channel. I've done Elysium. Orioles, it's coming in the mail. I'll get it eventually. I'll have the nice version of it, the Kickstarter version with all the nice new pieces. I'll have all those reviews up eventually. But this is definitely, Broom Service is the lighter of the four of those. It's a solid game, as you can see with my how to play and run through with my my beautiful wife, joined us. So you can see it's fairly light, but there is some strategy there. And I've played this with pretty much 2 players, and one game with the full complement of 5 players. And I'll play a few times more, but it is a radically different game when you're playing with 5 players compared to 2. Now, a 2-player game, it's interesting, but it's just not the same game at all. You're really, playing your main card and saying, yes, I'm the brave, and sometimes you get screwed up and your whole turn gets kind of messed up. Where playing with 5 players or more, there's a lot more strategy and figuring out, when can you get that one brave you mostly are doing non-brave actions, the cowardly actions. So it's a much richer game with more players. But it is so wildly different. I do like the fact where they have these bewitched cards that kind of fill in the game for when you're playing with 2, 3, or 4 players. But yeah, that card play, that trying to figure out, where you're going to be in the middle of the game, and when, are you going to be able to do the full brave action is really interesting. It's quite tricky. I mean, with the 2-player game, it's really, I'm just trying to figure out what the best route is, and hopefully I get everything I want. In the 5-player game, it's really about what can this card do for me, and what are the different ways that I can utilize it, right? Because it is an area kind of game. In a way, it's area majority or area control, or you are moving around the map. Like, I mean, that's the point of the game, to drop off your potions. Thanks. So it's quite interesting. It's hard to explain, but there is a lot of depth in that game. Like, I mean, there's quite a lot of tactics involved in trying to figure out exactly how you're going to do what you're going to do, and and with that higher player count, really just trying to get the most points out of the situation that you're in. But it's quite enjoyable. Now, the Spiel des Jahres, it should have been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres, or should have won. I don't know. I kind of like this game a little bit better than Elysium. Elysium's a good game. It's just not necessarily my favorite kind of game. I don't particularly, like the luck swings in Elysium. Although there's tons of luck in here, it just feels different because the point of the game is to mitigate that. With Deuce, I feel is a much better game than both of them. That's my opinion. But I love production games, as you know, like anything that it produces things and brings you in. Nations is an awesome game like that. Imperial Settlers. I'm just going through 51st State, which I am actually loving. I do like that Deuce element of producing, and definitely this, therefore I like Deuce better than, Broom Service or Elysium. I haven't played Orioles yet, but I'm guessing that that's kind of more down my alley. So out of all the games, I would say that this is interesting that it won. I can see it winning maybe over Elysium, although I know people say that that's incorrect. But I don't know how it won over the other two, like even Deuce, which wasn't even on the list. It was like the pre-list or something. But it is a really, really good, solid game at that level of introduction, like Catan or Small World. Maybe even Small World's a little bit much. But it is quite good. It's going to stay in my collection. I really enjoyed, and this is the game I can completely pull out with new players, and also it has that interaction. It is not a game that you're going to be sitting there just in your own little world. Everything is happening. It's all going around. You're staying focused on what other people are doing because you have to. You're involved in them. So with that respect, it's a very good game, and it's very different from any of the other games that were mentioned. So, if you're considering games that are different, then, maybe this one did deserve to win. The artwork is quite amazing. I really love it. I like the fact that it has two boards. One's an easy side, and the one's the other side. Or more complicated side. There is a really, the more complicated side brings in a lot of different elements, which I don't even know why they kind of made the simpler version. I get it, because you could play with kids, I suppose, but I would never play the simple version. I played it once and I was like, yeah, okay, let's ramp it up. But it is quite neat. You can, there's lots of replayability in it. Although the map, it is very map independent. So I'm guessing because it's a Spiel des Jahres winner, I'm sure that they're going to have more maps coming out eventually. But really there's nothing, I don't know if you could play with anything else with that. Like, I mean, you could get some bonus tokens, but really an expansion, I would think, keep it simple. It's a simple game, put more maps into it. Okay, mechanics, we talked about the mechanics, that card draw, figuring out if you're the, it's amazing, it's really well done. There's nothing really like it out there that I can think of, and it works well and good fun. Depth of the game, it's a medium to light. I mean, some of the Carcassonne stuff is even a little heavier. So, it's not huge on the depth, but there's lots of tactics involved. There's lots of thinking because there's a lot of interaction with your other players. So there's definitely something there to sink your teeth into, and if you have that group where, you know, there's a lot of playing against your other components, like everybody's competitive, I'm sure it would get very interesting. Things you like, I mean, there are lots of things that I like about this game. I like that there are multiple things that you can focus on, like the lightning bolts. You need to get some lightning bolts. You can, you know, get the bonus stuff. You can, you know, try to move further into the map to score those extra points and stuff. So there's quite a bit to the game. Like, it's not super simple. It's medium light. Okay, things you don't like. I mean, there's nothing really that I don't like here. I mean, it's a very different game from what I have. I'm going to keep it. And, you know, I'm not, wow, this is the best thing ever. It's just, you know, I don't see any flaws in it. It's a well-balanced, smooth, elegant game. Rating, final thoughts, I guess. I mean, I really enjoy it. It's not going to be my favorite game. It's a little lighter for me. I'm glad I have it. It will sit on the shelf, I'm sure, and we'll play it, and then it will probably, I don't know, we'll see. It might just sit on the shelf for a while until somebody comes over that, you know, needs a light game and we can pull it out, and there you go. Saying that, there is that element of, you know, working off of each other, and I don't have that many games that do that. So, you know, it's a fairly unique game when it comes to that. But I'll probably be paying Ori Loans more and Deuce more. Probably not Elysium, because I'm not. I've actually kind of died down on the Elysium thing. I kind of played it a bunch of times and I went, okay, now I get it. Yeah, it's okay. So that is it. I would say for a rating, it is a solid, like, 7, you know. It's a really good game to have, definitely for people that are not into heavy board games. I would say if you like Ticket to Ride, this is perfect. Get it. Like, that's what you want. But Ticket to Ride, once again, it's a little light for me. So there you go. Thank you very much. I hope you got something out of the review, run through, and playthrough of Broom Service. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe or give me thumbs up on the videos, and have a good night.